Hi, my name is Jeff Gilbert, and I'm the professor of journalism here at Cedarville University. And today we're in the journalism lab, and we've got some students here that are going to share some stories from a practicum they did this semester at the Springfield News-Sun, which is a local paper here just up the road. So take a little bit of time and listen to some of their stories.
I really like this practicum experience. I like the real-world feel of it, and I also, it was just continually reinforced for me that you're telling a story. This isn't just trying to get to that word count, trying to get to that deadline.
Practicum, I think, was a very beneficial experience because the deadlines were usually pretty short, and it was pretty stressful trying to get interviews, which I think is definitely a reflection of what it would be like to actually work for a newspaper. And that's what Kermit kept saying, like when I would have stories where it was like, do something at the last minute, he was like, you're definitely getting good practice for that.
For practicum, we'd have to turn around a story in a matter of sometimes a week, but often just a couple days. And it was tighter deadlines, but I love the adrenaline from it, so it was always exhilarating to be able to do the race against time and see if I could make deadlines.
It pushed me out of my comfort zone a lot. Like there was one story where I was working on, and the lady who was the subject of the story said she had gotten in trouble for talking to the media, so she asked me not to run with the story. So I had to call the editor back and tell him that, so he kind of pushed me in pushing her to talk to me. So it was big growth and step out of my comfort zone.
It's just been a huge confidence booster for me as well, like to get feedback from an editor like outside of Cedarville that hasn't really seen my writing all along. So just to know that I am capable of working in this profession.
Yeah, it was definitely a great experience. It was really neat to be able to contact people that weren't in the university, because a lot of times with Cedars and public relations and stories around here, it's easier to get caught up in, oh, I'm a Cedarville student, they're a Cedarville faculty, they'll trust me implicitly, and getting outside experience and talking to people who just aren't within the same circle.
My favorite story was probably the fair at New Boston, because I got to go to the event and try the food there and just see everybody in the period costume and talk to the reenactors and learn more about the history of the region here, and it was just really fun to write.
Wiffle ball tournament that was raising funds for a community center in the community, and it was a father and a son that I talked to, and just kind of their encouragement for one another and their gratefulness for each other. That was really cool to kind of have a part in playing out in the newspaper, because I don't know that they would have said it to each other's faces how thankful that they were for each other, but to write about that, I think they really appreciated that.
My first story I worked on, I got to go visit a guy in Springfield who was a woodshop guy, and he recreated a lot of stuff like Thomas Jefferson's old Declaration of Independence desk and stuff like that. And I got to meet him, see his work, and that was a really cool experience.
I got to do one story on, I was really excited when I got the email about it. I got to do a story about the Highway Hikers, which is a local biker gang, and every year they do a toy run at Christmas. And she told me that my sources were Barron and Inky. So that was just really cool. So I was talking to Barron on the phone, and he was awesome. Like, he was totally different than what I was expecting. He was just a big teddy bear. So we were talking, hitting it off, and then after a while he was like, yeah, you should totally come out to the bar sometime. I'll get you a soda pop. Just come hang out, get to know the guys. So I was like, yes. I didn't get to go out, but the invite was cool.
It's super important to get experience outside of the classroom. A lot of times, whether it's the amount of time or the people you talk to, you get tighter deadlines. Working with a new editor was different, someone who we don't see in the classroom every week or around campus, and just being able to communicate that way professionally.
Learning to talk to strangers was good. It's a lot easier when it's over the phone because you can be confident, and I think a lot of my sources didn't really know I was a student unless I told them. Like one time I didn't tell them I was a student, and they sounded really nervous. I think they thought I was like a legit journalist or something.
I think I can picture myself a lot more as a reporter now than I could before. Like I have a lot of stories to add to my portfolio, and like it would still be really great, and I would be interested in pursuing a career in copy editing, but I can actually picture myself sitting down and writing stories and going out and covering news events.
Well, the biggest takeaway, the real prize, I got a full-time internship out of it. So I'm really excited about that next semester.